48 4 times, and we know that 16 goes into 96 8 times. So that's something we can use when we start do our finish work. You notice I'm just putting my studs here right now. I'm not worrying about the window. Okay, so once your studs are in, to make it easier for yourself, I usually put an X on the studs, so I know they're studs. Okay, they're my studs. Now, it's also showing me the center of my studs. Now I want to do the height of my window. I said my window is going to be 36 by 54. Alright, so now I'm going to measure from the bottom. I'm going to measure up a certain distance because I know my window is going to be a certain height up. So most average windows in a bedroom are anywhere from 3 feet to 4 feet in height, depending on what you want. Because you don't want to have a window too low that people can see in and you can see out, stuff like that. So you have a certain distance of, security. So we're going to measure up, we'll say 36 inches is the first one. So that would be 3 inches. So I can use my scale. I want to go up 36 inches. So that would be 3/4, 36 inches is right here. Okay. 1, 2, 3 is 36 inches. Okay, then over here, on top of that, I have to go 1.5 inches for my sill plate. I'm going to come down 1.5 inches, sorry. Down 1.5 inches for my sill plate. Okay, and then my window is, what I said was going to be 48 inches. That's too much. Okay. So I got to stand up and look at this, guys. It's kind of a weird situation right here. So I want to go up, all right, 3 feet, which is right there. Come down 3 feet. And then I go up a window a certain height, which would be 3 feet. We'll say 3 feet, another 3-foot window, 3, 6, say 40 inch window. So that would right about here. All right, so there's my window. Now, looking at it across, this is 3 feet here. Most houses, I'm telling you, they're 3 feet. And the house I live in right now, I think it's roughly like 28 inches up. There's a little 30 inches of a radiator that runs all the way across. So my window is a little bit bigger. We can do that. But if I do the window like this, the way it is here, I have to, this is my sill. I have a header in here. So I'm going to measure a header, which is going to be a 2 by 6. So I'm going to go up another 5.5 inches. So that's my 2 by 6. And my triple is above it. My window is going to be in this space right here. So lightly I want to draw that across so I would know where that is. I know my window is from this stud here to this stud here. All right, so I'm just going to mark them up here so I know where they are, which I have an overextend in here right here. So I'm going to take that and I'm going to come down, look at that stud, and now I'm going to put it to the inside edge of that window. Inside edge. And then I'm going to go up. I'm going to do it again. I'm going to come all the way to the top now and do my header. Header is real important. It takes the load, distributes the load around the window. Because you do not want to have load on the center of your window. Your window itself will fall down. It'll break. So there's my header. Here's my sill plate. These are my cripples right here, here and here. Now I have to put another stud in here. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark another 1.5 inches. That's going to take the load from my header to my sill plate. So I'm going to measure another 1.5 inches over, which is 1/8 of an inch. Okay, so I measure another 1/8 of an inch on either side of the window. I'm going to draw them up. Now, this is going to be support for your window itself. Now, this is the window. The header sits here. I nail my header in from this side to this side. This here is a jack, okay, which is going to hold the window. Comes down. I have a sill plate. Sill plate is also held by the jack, so I'm going to put an O there so I know what they are. So I know I have those studs. Now I'm going to erase what I don't need, because this is my window. Now I don't have an eraser shield here, so I'll have to make something up here. So what I'm going to do is a regular piece of paper. It doesn't matter what I have here. Let me grab a piece of paper here. Just an important note here, which I don't need. So now I know I'm going to use the paper itself, and I'm just going to erase the top of the paper. And that'll take off all the stuff I need to take off. It'll protect the lines that I want to protect. Okay. Let's erase that line in there. I'm going to erase down the bottom here for the window. Notice I draw lightly because that way when I do my erasing, it makes it a little easier. So I'm going to work my way down until I get to that edge. And I'll trace it up again. So there's my window. I'm going to take these studs that go through my sill plate. We don't need them there. I'm just lightly drawing it. So much easier with an eraser shield. But I don't have one here. Okay, so I have my studs, which are here, 16 on centers. Alright, my king jack right here. I have a cripple I got to put up here and one up here. Let's finish them up. Alright, one goes above the window. There. And there. So these are my cripples up here. These are my king studs, jacks. Hold the window. Studs. Come on back. I have a bottom plate, top plate, another top plate. That's basically everything you need to do. And you put a scale. The scale I'm going to put down here in the corner, I'm going to say 3/4 of an inch equals 1 foot. Okay, that's good. Now, to label it, so I'm going to come up here a little bit, and I'm just going to put a line between the two, like that. All right? And I'm going to label it and say studs are 16 inches on center. So I'm going to put 16 inches, and I'm going to put on center. So it'll be center O. Okay, 16 inches on center. Once that's done, they're labeled. I have another line I can put, and when I do my labeling, I just want to have a line, so I can have a line up or down. Doesn't make a difference. You can do a triangle if you want. I can make it simple. I can have a line like this with an arrow on it, and just label it studs. All right. I got my post here, king post, which are my jacks. Underneath it, I have my cripples, so I put a line for cripples. I put a line for headers. All right. So I labeled this a header, so I'd have a line coming up to it, and I put a header. All right, this is my window itself right here. All right, I have my cripples. I put a line up there for cripples. All right, once that's done, this is basically it. I can just darken in what I need to do. This tells me the studs I have. Now, for a wall, I said was going to be how long? 14 feet. So if I make a line down here, just give me a length here and a length here, and I'm going to put a line between it and leave a space. All right, arrows. Now I can just do one arrow like that if I want, and I'm going to go 14 feet. How many studs do I need for this wall now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 studs I need for that wall. See, that's where your scale is off, guys. Some of you guys were off with your scale. You weren't thinking. You got to think how many studs you're going to need to complete that wall. So now I know I need 15 studs, right? I have a header, okay, which is a 2x6, all right? So I can label that 2x6 header, all right? My studs are 2x4, or they could be 2x6. Depends on what you want to label. You make that call. Once that's all said and done, I can darken everything in and label it. This is only one wall in your bedroom. This is the outside wall. We still have to do the other walls. Once that's done, we'll start on the next wall. So basically, this is what you're turning into me. I'm looking at this section here, this section here. I'm looking at your studs, how they're labeled, all right? My O's and my X, the length, the total height of the area, which is here, total height. All right, and that's 96 inches, which is 8 feet. Minus your 3 feet here, an inch and a half here, because don't forget, this is going to be part of your other wall. So your wall is really not going to be 96 inches. It's going to be like 94 and a half once you start putting the drywall up. All right, so you have a header, you have a sill plate, or yeah, sill. We have down here, we have bottom plate. Or sometimes they call it a sole plate. Okay, sill, sole plate. You got our cripples in here, studs. Where else did I miss? Did I miss anything else? I don't think this is a good start. All right, so remember, write your scale down. 16 on centers, which I know. All right, so the first stud, the distance between the studs is actually 14 and a half. It's not 16 inches. Because I have an inch and a half here, inch and a half here. I'm going from the outside of the stud to the outside of the stud. So if I go outside to outside, minus inch and a half is 14 and a half inches. So really the distance between studs, the open space, is 14 and a half. But studs on center are 16 on center. This is important. Make sure you do your studs first, then put your window in.